Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for April 13th. It's Tuesday, 2021. The man they call Meathead, joined again by the road weary, as we called her yesterday, Linda K. Good morning, Linda. Have you gotten any sleep since you've arrived back in the great Midwest?
I'm caught up on a little bit of sleep last night, but getting back yesterday was not fun. I'm when I'm like an hour and a half of sleep. But hey, I made it. I'm back. I'm getting slowly reacclimated back to Central Time Zone and just being back in the mill.
Again, I told you earlier that, being up and doing all the stuff that I've been doing, I had no reason to complain because I wasn't on a plane bouncing around the country. But my longest one was WrestleMania 24 with Damon. We got down there. When did we get down to Orlando? I think we got down there that Monday. We flew in separately because I had we flew in together. We separated in Orlando, the WrestleMania 24 in Orlando. We flew down together on a Monday afternoon. Arrived in Orlando. I separated from him, got a rental car, drove from Orlando to Panama City Beach, stayed up there for 3 days, hauled ass back from Panama City Beach down to Orlando to meet Damian Nelson at Universal Studios. I think within an hour of the first ever live TNA Impact taping. He goes, dude, where have you been? I'm like, bro, I forgot about the time change again. I can't help it. I mean, doing 95 miles an hour down whatever freeway that was in Florida. Then we went to that. We went to Friday night Impact taping, Saturday night Hall of Fame, Sunday night WrestleMania. We went to the Raw the Monday after. As much as I love my brother from another mother, Damien, that Tuesday morning at like 6 a.m. flying out of Orlando, I was done with Damien. It was time to go home. So
no, I hear you. I am happy to be back home. And, watching Raw after Mania last night made me think that, or recall that I was actually at the last Raw after Mania, because there wasn't one last year, but I went to my first and only so far Raw after Mania in New York for 36.
Yeah, the one that we went to was a pretty amazing one because that was the return of yo, pop a 40 and check your rollie. It's crime time.
Oh,
and also the retirement of Ric Flair off camera.
Wow.
That was amazing.
Wow.
Those were good seats. And you know what? They were the worst seats in the building, but they were good seats because we got to see it all. I had such a great time at that. I understand. Lynn, I'm glad you're back home. I'm glad you're rested, feeling better. Let's talk about our sponsors real quick. Our friends at manscaped.com are making sure that everybody, including wrestlers that have hair going all the way down to their legs, apparently, because that's their gimmick, are manscaped. So you can have hair coming out of the top of your head, but you're manscaped everywhere else. Just like our friend, Dave the Zohan Hero. He uses PWR for his promo code, and he saves himself 20% with manscaped.com and collarandelbowbrand.com. Linda K., are you eligible to? Have you been given the clearance to give out a promo code other than the one that we use?
I do have my collar and elbow ambassador code to use now. If you would also like to save 10% off on your collar and elbow attire, you can use the code Linda K, LINDAKAY, to receive your special discount for collar and elbow as well.
Wow, we're going to make the transition here. I think it is time to promote Linda K with collarandelbowbrand.com. Promo code Linda K, saving you 10% at collarandelbowbrand.com. So, Linda K, the promo code, and the person talking here on a Tuesday morning. We had Raw after WrestleMania last night. Again, WWE obnoxiously over the last 5-10 years has told us, the Raw after WrestleMania, anything could happen. This is one of those crazy things where up is down and left is right. And what? Yeah. Last night was the Raw after WrestleMania. We're not going to go match by match. We're not going to go event by event. But overall, before we kind of get into it, 2 years in a row, this did not feel like a Raw after WrestleMania. And we have COVID to blame.
Yeah. I mean, we couldn't have that huge international crowd there.
Right.
Just continue with the chants, the beach balls. Not like I like the beach balls. I never did. But that was just always something that was big as far as Raw after Mania. But I mean, we were back in the Thunderdome, and it was still a great show, great Raw, but
a new Thunderdome, by the way.
yes, but you couldn't tell from the inside.
No, you couldn't tell from the inside, except for if you were really looking. So in the Thunderdome proper, the arena, the ring, the ramp, you couldn't tell the difference. It was the Thunderdome. Inside the halls, inside the area around it, it was a different building, and you could tell. And there was nothing wrong with it. It looked good. I thought it looked great. But couple bit pieces of news to come out of the Raw from after WrestleMania last night. One was the brand new Thunderdome. Two, we have a new play-by-play man in the WWE on Raw. No longer is it Tom Phillips. Linda, what was your thoughts on the introduction? One, the return of Corey Graves, and then they bumped over Byron Saxton over to the right seat. They got rid of Samoa Joe. Now, I don't know if that means Joe's going somewhere else or Tom Phillips is going somewhere else, but your thoughts on the new Raw announce team?
I did enjoy it. I didn't think it didn't, I'm using a double negative here, or not double negative. I don't think it didn't gel well. Did that come off right? I think that they meshed well.
Okay.
For being the first episode. I think having the familiar voices of Byron Saxton and Corey Graves definitely helped.
I think having Corey Graves there helps. I mean, we don't realize it because we're involved in it on a day-to-day basis, but Corey Graves, how many years has it been now? 6, 7, 8 that he's been the number one color commentator in WWE?
Right.
He's good at what he does.
Absolutely. And, having Corey Graves and Byron Saxton back together on Raw, I remember their banter from the previous time where it was the three of them, and I enjoyed it. It's great. I mean, Corey Graves is tremendous, but having him be more of the heelish commentator, if you will, I enjoyed that. I love him and Byron's banter, and I don't think it was at full swing, but I think it'll get back there between the two of them, and it may not seem like chemistry, but I think it is. It works with them two together. And then the addition of, is it Ed? I kind of missed his name, but they just mentioned him, yes, coming from MLB Network, and how
and he also worked at ESPN for a long time as well.
Yeah, yep. How much he was enjoying this opportunity, and they cracked a few jokes at him being at his first night, but I enjoyed it. I think it flowed well, and it's going to take a little bit.
He really was very humble and says, "I'd like to thank you in advance." By the way, Graves, and he's calling him Graves, not Corey. He's just calling him Graves. I love just Graves. Graves, I'd like to thank you in advance for carrying me in the YouTube Iron tonight, because let's get it to the action. Adnan Virk, making up the new announce team along with Corey Graves and Byron Saxton. We make fun of Byron Saxton as far as a color commentator, but how long has he been doing it now? It's been a few years. And Byron Saxton's always been the very bubbly. I don't think anything ever gets him down. They pick on him all the time. He was the coachman. So Jonathan Coachman used to get picked on all the time until Coach became the heel, right? Was he general manager for a while, Jonathan Coachman?
I want to say he was.
I want to say he was as well. But no, Adnan Virk. So far, he didn't feel like he was jumping out at me. However, I didn't hear any problems either. So
right.
I do miss Morrow. The energy of Morrow, Ronaldo.
Mamma mia!
Mamma mia! Yeah, I miss Morrow. And we talk about bullying in the 21st century, and Morrow is not with WWE due to some possible bullying. I mean, those are all stories, but we'll see what it is. Let's talk about the opening segment and the interaction between the world champion, the WWE champion, Bobby Lashley, taking on Riddle, who had just lost his United States Championship on Sunday night to Sheamus. He was probably the funniest I've seen Riddle in a while. That actually had me going. He goes, "Fact," and I quote, it was kind of funny. I mean, Riddle's shtick doesn't really work for me, but that was pretty good.
Yeah, I was wondering if, we talked about this in yesterday's show, how that shot of Riddle's face after losing the title to Sheamus and having the color on his face.
Coming out of the mouth.
Yeah, it showed a different side of Riddle, which I liked, but we got the original Bro Riddle, but he did mention that he had a fat lip or cut lip or something to that extent.
Mhm.
But I thought it was a funny way to kick off Raw after Mania. And we got a good match out of him and Lashley. And one thing that Riddle really didn't mention, and I'm gonna guess it's because now Bobby Lashley is the big WWE champion. But remember when Bobby lost to Riddle at Elimination Chamber, which wasn't that long ago?
Yep, it was after Royal Rumble. If I'm
Yeah,
not
and then the next night was, or no, then the cash-in took place at night. That's right. So I
on
guess they didn't really
pay-per-view.
have to mention it, but I just thought it could have been something that it could have added more fuel to the fire for their match.
One more Riddle match. Fact, and I quote, "We wrestled for United States Championship, bro, at the Elimination Chamber, and I beat you." Fact. He could have done that. He
Yeah.
didn't. So, good point. Good catch. After the match, obviously MVP and Lashley standing tall and celebrating as they get the replays. They also do a flashback to Sunday night and talk about how Rhea Ripley defeated Asuka. And there's going to be a quick WrestleMania rematch. Now, we've seen these type of things before where, the champion just got victorious at WrestleMania and comes out boasting and doing whatever, and then all of a sudden something happens. We got nothing happening. It was a WrestleMania rematch. I mean, the pay-per-view Backlash in May is called WrestleMania Backlash. So
Right.
we're literally going to milk the WrestleMania feeling for another 5 weeks.
Right. To your point of rematches on Raw after Mania for the title, we've gotten some surprises where the titles have changed hands once again, or perhaps a new competitor coming in and getting the title. But we got the rematch. Cool. I thought it was going well, but then, I mean, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead from
It's
your
okay. Go
order,
ahead.
but I mean, we got some type of shakeup, a little
Yep, we're
interference
gonna get
from
to that.
the
Yep,
Queen.
we're gonna get to that shakeup.
Yeah,
I
okay.
want to. I was gonna say I want to talk about the return because there's always a return on the night after WrestleMania, right? The
Yeah.
Viking Raiders are back in the house, and they took on the tag
Yeah.
team of Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. It's not the return of crime time, but it is the Viking Raiders, and I was happy to see them. The winners, of course, the Viking Raiders, Eric and Ibar winning against Shelton and Cedric. Since the removal of them from the Hurt Business, I think the team of Shelton and Cedric are on the way down.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. They were still such a strong stable, and having them being the tag team champions was good. It was strong. They looked great, all of them. Just such a weird, quick, shaky turn
Yeah.
to for what happened to the Hurt Business, the
Such a
disassemble.
strong group. They were such a strong group, and I thought that could have gone on for months. All
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I was gonna say this tag team or this match, excuse me, with Viking Raiders made sense because it was that match against Shelton and Cedric that
Mhm.
injury was sustained to Ivar. But I
Right.
kind of realized with the return, like, wow, Viking Raiders are gonna go over, and what about Shelton and Cedric? Like, what can we do with them? I mean, I don't want to see them continually losing or this, continual downfall, but maybe it is time to just separate them and have them strong as singles again.
So, as we're getting the build towards the rematch of Asuka and Rhea Ripley, here comes the Queen, Charlotte Flair. Now, Adnan had said, there is rumblings of Charlotte not being happy because she was not on WrestleMania. That's a little foreshadowing, a little setup. She cut an amazing heel promo. The
Mm-hmm.
the fact that she was able to cut that amazing promo just shows how far she's gone because it wasn't too many Raws after WrestleMania ago that that Raw after WrestleMania crowd chewed her up and spit her out on a Monday
Yeah.
night to the point where do you remember that where they had to cut to commercial because that crowd
Yeah.
were alive. No, not last night. She owned it. She absolutely owned it. And you were foreshadowing a little bit, but it's okay because it's all got synergy here. The match between Asuka and the new champion, Rhea Ripley, was interrupted and destroyed by Charlotte. Charlotte dominated both. This can be her WrestleMania backlash. She has backlash because she wasn't on the show. What do you think?
Well, I loved her chiming in on every obstacle that was in her way from what could have been her in a championship match at Mania this past weekend. She
Yeah.
mentioned her dad's, I don't remember her quote for quote, but the wacky situation, his craziness, or whatever she said about
My
him.
dad showed up and embarrassed himself.
Yeah.
Evans ends up pregnant,
Not
and
my
I can't
fault she
even
got
do that. Yeah,
pregnant. Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. How she was saying, it's not my fault. It's not my fault.
I
And
even
oh, it's not my
challenged
fault
Asuka.
Asuka needed a tag
Yeah,
partner.
yeah. She even challenged Asuka, and she never
Mm-hmm.
responded. Now, we all know that Charlotte was out due to COVID protocol. So that kind of pulled her out of the WrestleMania card. And I really do believe she could have came back, but they were at a point where they had to do something. So you know what? We'll set you up for the WrestleMania Backlash and we'll make it strong again. So I really think at that window, which is frustrating, but I think they said to her, look, we can't do it. We need somebody now. You can't go. I'm going to change the plans. And I think that's how Rhea Ripley walked in and won that championship.
Right. And just a year ago, Charlotte and Rhea had a match at Mania as well. And I know
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte won, but
Yeah, Rhea came
this,
in as the NXT Women's Champion.
mm-hmm. But now we've got this whole other side of Charlotte. I mean, tremendous. And her new out, like her being in some, I don't say normal clothing, but yes, it was a hot outfit. And it was nice to see her just in,
She looked amazing.
yeah, like
Absolutely amazing.
cutting that promo. And yeah, it was great to see that. And definitely a tremendous promo.
Absolutely. Let's talk about something else that's absolutely tremendous. Alexa Bliss. I did not know that it would go this way. I thought it was maybe accidental that the Fiend was distracted by her and lost the match at WrestleMania. All intentional. Alexa Bliss says, was it the darkness helping her or standing in her way? He showed her everything, and now she's on her own. They've always said that the female is the most dangerous of the family.
Mm.
And what was her
Yeah.
new friend's name? Lily.
Yes.
Lily's teeth were made of little tiny skulls. Did you see?
Skulls. Yes. Rather spooky.
Yeah. Again, when we say that Alexa Bliss has been amazing and then she ups the game, we're talking superstar of the year stuff here.
Right. So wait, is Lily gonna be a new tag partner for her, or is it her other uh
Persona?
character that she might mold into?
I don't know. But it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. We're going to have to wait and see. Because again, when we think she's reached the pinnacle, no pun intended to AEW, she goes and ups it a notch. Speaking of up in a notch, it is the WrestleMania After Raw. Look who's on TV. It's the lovely Maurice, Mrs. Mizanin. Or how do you say Mrs. last name? Mizanin?
I think it's Ms. Annan.
Yeah, so it's Maurice Mizanin on TV. Johnny Drip Drip, your boy, looking a little jealous. How do you feel about good old John Morrison being cast as a third wheel and a dork third wheel to begin with?
Yeah, I was thinking with Maurice returning, I'm like, oh no, does this mean that we're separating Miz and Morrison right now? That's where I saw it going. I mean, as we know, anything can happen on the Rafter Mania, right? So I was thinking it was going to go that way. I mean, it still can. I know they still ended up winning their match, but it
Yeah,
still came off a little funky. So I don't know if Maurice being on was just to obviously help promote the premiere of the
is a
next
myth.
season of Ms. and Mrs. or if she's gonna, have a more of a regular ongoing role, because then it seems like that could cause a drift between Johnny Drip Drip and the
Yeah,
Miz.
maybe there's that match coming. I want to talk about Damian Priest real quick here. He has flashes of brilliance in his promos. And then there's times I don't feel anything from him. Like there's no energy. I think it's
Hmm.
like 50-50. So in his promo last night on Raw, there was no passion in there. But then when I hear him talking, I'm like, you guys are dorks. You guys are idiots. I'm just going to come down there. You want to do it? Let's do it. See, I believe that. But then the first half of it, I didn't believe it at all. He's right there. I'm holding my forefinger and thumb separated by just a small little piece. He is right there. Damian Priest is going to be the next big star. I know I was pounding that table for Rhea Ripley last year. Damian Priest, folks, mark my words. Damian Priest is the next big thing. I know I'm stealing Damian Nelson's gimmick on the next big thing. It's Damian Priest.
Yeah, I mean, now the audience will really get to see more of what Damian Priest can do and say on the bigger stage on Raw now, just because now he's not having to have, Bad Bunny a lot. I mean, that was fine. I was leading up to Mania, but now we've discussed this on the show. We kind of hope that, or kind of wish that Bad Bunny wasn't necessarily placed with Damian Priest, because Damian Priest was new to Raw, so new to many, another audience that may not have watched NXT as closely. Now we're going to get that chance to see him, be Damian Priest, really get himself over without having to have this attachment with Bad Bunny. Not that it was bad, because we all know that was a great match at Mania, but now let's get Damian Priest more elevated.
I'm confused by Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, specifically Nia Jax. Remember, was it a month ago, 2 months ago? Ow, my butthole. Nia Jax.
It was just my hole.
Ow, my hole. Okay. I mean, she's a bigger girl, a model, but she's a bigger girl. She's got a little bit more junk in her trunk. That's more of a trunk of, let's say, maybe a 4x4. I didn't understand that. And then when she fell not once but twice last night because she was making fun of Mandy Rose. So I'm a little confused. Is she supposed to be funny, not funny? I don't get it. I really don't. And Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler are still the winners of the match, by count out, because Mandy Rose, and that's the thing I really don't understand. I think they just killed themselves. They said it's not worth it. Why is it not worth it to beat the tag team champions and get a title shot? How is that not worth it? That makes no sense.
I don't know. I mean, considering the way they attacked Nia Jax.
Mandy Rose's hair grew like 7 inches in a week.
Yes. It's a type of miracle girl for your hair.
I ought to put that on my beard and start to grow out myself a nice beard there.
And then you can manscape.
Oh, yeah. There you go. All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the number one contenders match. It's a three-way match, and we'll get to Bray Wyatt in just a second, but it's a three-way match. It's Drew McIntyre, it's Randy Orton, and Braun Strowman. They had a little promo beforehand setting up why I should be the number one. I should be the number one. We've seen this so many times. Adam Pearce comes out and says, you know what, fine, whatever, I see it. Three-way match. You made it easier for me tonight. Winner takes on Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania Backlash. Who did you see was going to win this before we saw the finish to the match?
I was hoping for Drew, just because I feel a lot of us felt that Drew could have had a better, bigger moment at Mania. I mean, I love Bobby Lashley as champion too, but I still was just surprised. I thought that Drew was going to get the big moment. That being said, does that mean he'll get it at the WrestleMania Backlash? Perhaps, but it's still not that same reaction that we thought. So it's kind of.
I was going to say that's the thing, because Drew got his match in front of fans, but he got his win the year before over Brock Lesnar in 5 minutes. Now you put it at the WrestleMania Backlash, give him the title, and at least Bobby had his moment in front of fans.
So in my mind, I was thinking Drew, but now that we've dissected this more, I feel like it could have possibly gone to Braun Strowman. The win for that triple threat match last night, just to kind of shake things up. But I mean, all viable contenders for the Almighty. Yeah, I just, if they're giving it to Drew to get this chance again, I feel now Drew should get that win again. Otherwise, that's it. Between Drew and Bobby right now.
Match against Randy, and then he got the belt back, and then he got he gets a lot of chances. Speaking of a lot of chances, not that we're talking about SmackDown, but I think that's another match that's going to happen at the WrestleMania Backlash. I think it's finally going to be Edge and Roman one-on-one, because Daniel Bryan's had his chances. I do want to go backwards a little bit and kind of wrap us up here. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. I'd rather have him as the Fiend. This happy-go-lucky, playhouse Braun, the Firefly Funhouse, where he's singing and dancing, and they're just upset that she's gone. That's it? That's all? I like the bad guy, the one that's burning people and tricking people and playing mind games on people, not the one that's bouncing around in the Firefly Funhouse.
So are we sure? Is the Fiend absolutely gone now?
I have
I
no
know.
idea. I never know.
I know that the guests of the Funhouse welcomed Bray Wyatt back, but as we know, could be the Fiend again. But it looks like there's still a lot of explaining to do with what happened between the Fiend and Alexa. I mean, we kind of got an introduction to why she did what she did, as we saw when it was Alexa's Playground segment. But as far as Bray and the Fiend, I too want to see more of the Fiend. I want to see the Mania, the bad guy, the crazy one, the monster.
Right. I want to see it all,
Yeah.
Make it happen, Captain. Let's go.
Mandible Claw, no.
Yeah, who's to say? So we got that. Now that's all settled up. We're making our way to the WrestleMania Backlash 5 weeks from now. So we have a lot of room to build. I feel a draft is coming too. And not just a draft on Raw. I'm talking about the PWR draft, Linda Kay.
Ooh.
Again, the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe, unable to announce a winner. We mentioned this yesterday morning. We have the totals in, but they are going through a recount. We're going to have to reach out to all the participants. Linda, we're talking to you. We're talking to Team Matt Damien, Matthew Thomas. We're talking to Drew Baydal, and we're talking to the Zohan, Dave Hero. The totals, hopefully, will be relayed and broadcasted and, announced. We are thinking of working with Drew Baydal's new show. I mean, I know Drew's got a show out there, and we're thinking about bringing it live. We haven't been on video in a long time. I'd say, 5 months, 4 months, 5 months, something like that.
It's been a while.
I mean, since the final episode.
Yeah. It's been a while since all of us have been on one screen together.
That's right. I feel that. Yep, and I feel that we need to make it an epic presentation. We'll have to coronate the champion, and we'll have to make it worth your while, fans. So, for Linda Kay, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.